Combat was a very important aspect of Fable 1, and Fable 2 is no different. We spend time on research and development at Lionhead, and during one of our experiments, we discovered an exciting new way to move forward with combat. Why not put everything on one button?
Well, having one button for combat in Fable 2, it kind of makes my job both harder and easier. It's harder in the sense that there's only fewer things a player can do with his hands, so you have to make sure that of all the enormous varieties of actions that the character can do in the game, you always get the one that is most appropriate for where you want to be. So you almost want the game to read the player's mind and do exactly what he intends to do at that specific time, which, as you can imagine, mind reading is quite a difficult thing to program.
The whole idea about it is to try and leverage everything that you can to make the combat more exciting without actually changing the combat itself.
Our goal is not to make combat look realistic, it's to make it believable. We want you to feel like you're in the game, hitting the enemies. It's not a realistic game. It's got creatures in it, it's got hobs, it's got gigantic trolls, you use magic. We want the combat to all fit together in this world, and we want the world to be believable, but it's not realistic.
These guys have made stuff out of crap, so bones, bits and pieces, whereas these guys kind of fashion bits and pieces out of metal.
The sheer size of the game means that some of the team members will have to work late into the evenings to fix their bugs. This relates to all aspects of the game, not just combat, and some of the team members will be facing more bugs than others.
The target is for all team members to clear their Pry 1 bugs this week.
I'm debugging the particle system and why at the moment the particles are really big and fat and ugly and they don't die out, so right now that's what I'm doing.
The magic system in Fable 2 is similar to Fable 1 in you get a range of spells for you to choose when to cast. Where it's different is we've tried to make it fit in with the whole one-button combat ethos of Fable 2. So we're trying to make spell casting accessible to the casual player, but with depth for the harder core player.
The most important factor in making combat believable is the reaction of the enemy. If they react in a way that's incredibly satisfying, it's just fantastic. And if you're close enough to the enemy and you press attack, you get to smack their head off a log, which is great. And then sets it up nicely for a finishing move.
Working out all the aspects of combat in Fable 2 is a huge task with many different factors that need to be taken into account. While some of us might know what it's like to actually wield a sword, it's a completely different matter to translate that into a convincing animation. And so in the early development stages, research is hugely important.
We did loads of research. We looked at videos, we looked at games, we just happened to find people around the studio that had life-sized weapons at home. Not completely real, but there were some life-size metal swords brought in, which it was really useful because we could go out into the car park and video ourselves doing specific moves for the hero. We got a sword master in called Richard Ryan, who showed us how he would actually fight with a sword. Quite a scary guy. He had a guitar case full of weapons and didn't mind getting quite close to us when he was demonstrating swings and things.
What we have here, we can see that this is the last month. The blue bars show us what's been fixed, and the red ones, all the bugs that have gone in. So the last 2 days we've had a peak there, which is good, which means people are fixing things. They're also putting more bugs in, which isn't so good.